The rain was pounding my roof like it had a personal grudge. The kind of storm that makes you want to crawl back under the covers and forget the world. I was sprawled on my couch in Crestview, Colorado, in my favorite faded Broncos hoodie, scrolling through design gigs on my laptop when a knock cut through the thunder. My name's Jennifer Perez, and I'm a freelance graphic designer who thought she'd left drama behind in Denver. That night, though, drama found me. I shuffled to the door, expecting a neighbor begging for sugar, or maybe a lost delivery guy. Instead, I opened it to a baby carrier, soaked through sitting on my porch like some forgotten package. Inside was a tiny bundle wrapped in a pink blanket, her dark eyes staring up at me, silent and steady like she was sizing me up. My heart stopped. "Hello?" I shouted into the storm, but all I got back was the screech of tires peeling out down the street. A soggy note was tucked into the carrier, flapping in the wind. My hands trembled as I clutched the note, its jagged handwriting unmistakably my sister Claire's. "I can't do this. She's yours now." Claire, my older sister, had always been a whirlwind of chaos. Parties, bad boyfriends, and a habit of disappearing when life got tough. We grew up in Denver, our parents meticulously maintaining their perfect Sutton family facade and country club image. Claire was the rebel, constantly in trouble, while I was the quiet one, sketching in my room, trying to remain invisible. I'd moved to Crestview to escape their judgment, their coldness, and Claire's messes. Yet now, here was her baby, abandoned in the rain, like a stray. I carried the infant carrier into my tiny living room, feeling smaller with every passing second. The baby wasn't crying, which freaked me out more than if she had been. She just watched me like she knew I wasn't over my head. "Okay, Jenna," think I muttered, pacing past my cluttered desk and half-dead houseplants. I didn't know Claire was pregnant. She hadn't called in months hospital police. Our parents, God, the thought of calling them made my stomach twist. They disowned Claire when her addiction got bad, and they'd always treated me like a disappointment for choosing a bohemian life over their high society world. I dial my mom anyway, my fingers clumsy on the phone. She picked up, her voice sharp. "Do you know how late it is, Mom?" Claire left her baby on my doorstep. "There's just a note. I don't know what to do." Silence, then. "Well, Jenna, I suppose she's your responsibility now." "What? Mom? I can't. Your sister made her choice." She cut in cold as ever. "We can't have this scandal getting out. Handle it quietly. Put Dad on. He's asleep." "Don't raise your voice at me, Jenna. This is why Claire couldn't trust you to handle things properly. Be discreet." Click, the line went dead. I stared at the phone, then at the baby, who let out a tiny snuffle like she was reminding me. She was still there. Just us. "Huh?" I said, my voice wobbling. I was 25, barely keeping my freelance gigs afloat. And now I had a kid. Panic clouded me. But those eyes, those big, trusting eyes, kept me moving. I found a YouTube video on newborn care, grabbed my keys, and ran to the 24-hour pharmacy for diapers and formula, leaving her alone for 12 agonizing minutes. I kept picturing her waking up crying with no one there. When I got back, she was still asleep, and I sank to the floor, shaking, promising her we'd figured out. The next morning, I called in sick to my part-time retail job. My boss wasn't having it. Family emergency doesn't cut it. After probation, she snapped. I lost the job a week later, my savings dwindling as I bought bottles, clothes, and a secondhand crib. The only paperwork was a half-filled birth certificate application listing December 21st as her birthday, winter solstice. Hope in the darkest time. That first week, in the quiet of a middle-of-the-night feeding, I named her Aaliyah, my little light. "I have no clue what I'm doing," I whispered to her, "but we'll get through this together." I didn't know it then, but that quiet promise would shape the next decade of my life, defining a fight I never anticipated. 10 years vanished in a whirlwind of sippy cups, school plays, and the constant hum of late-night design deadlines. Aaliyah blossomed from that silent bundle into a vibrant, spirited child. Her gangly legs, paint-splattered hands, and laughter filled our small Crestview house with light. I had traded my Denver dreams for this small-town life, freelancing from my cluttered home office. It allowed me to be present for every milestone. Her first steps, her first words, her first triumphant soccer goal. Every crayon drawing on the fridge, every bedtime story on our sagging couch felt like a victory. I wasn't just raising Aaliyah, she was saving me, giving me purpose. I, never found in my parents' world of polished surfaces and empty promises. But one afternoon, as I was tweaking a logo for a client, a sharp knock rattled my door. Aaliyah was at her friend Mia's for a sleepover, and I wasn't expecting anyone. Something about that. Knock too loud, too demanding. Made my gut twist. I opened the door, and it was like stepping into a bad dream there. Stood Claire, my sister, looking like she'd walked out of a magazine. Designer coat, flawless makeup, not a hair out of place. Flanking her were our parents. My mom's face set in that familiar scowl. My dad staring at his shoes behind them. A guy in a slick suit clutched a briefcase like a weapon. "Hey, Jenna," Claire said, her smile. All teeth, no warmth. "We need to talk about my daughter." The world spun. I gripped the doorframe, my voice steadier than I felt. "Your daughter? You mean the one you left on my porch in a storm 10 years ago?" Claire's eyes glistened with tears that looked practiced. "I was sick then, Jenna. I've changed. I'm sober, successful. I want her back." The suit stepped forward. "Miss Perez, I'm Richard Langston, attorney. We're here to discuss custody arrangements for Aaliyah custody." The word hit like a punch, but beneath the shock, something fiercer was rising. A mama bear instinct toned over a decade of love. "You're not coming in," I said, blocking the doorway, "and you're not discussing custody of my daughter." "Our daughter," Claire corrected, her voice therapy. "Let's be civil, Jenna." Civil. I laughed. Bitter like abandoning a newborn, and the rain is civil. My mom stepped forward, her pearl necklace gleaming. "Jenna, stopped being dramatic. Your sister's trying to make things right. After 10 years, try again." I pulled out my phone and dialed Christopher Caldwell, my best friend from college and a damn good lawyer. His blue pickup rolled into my driveway minutes later, and he strode up, all calm confidence. Perfect timing. Langston said, his smile tight. I was about to present custody filing papers, then present them to me. Christopher said, stepping beside me, "I'm Miss Perez's attorney. You knew this was coming." My dad muttered, finally looking up. "No," I snapped. "I just learned not to trust any of you." We ended up in my living room, Christopher insisting it looked cooperative. He sat beside me on the couch, while Claire, my parents, and Langston perched on chairs, usually covered in Aaliyah's art supplies. Langston spread papers across my coffee table. "My client has been sober for 3 years, has a stable home and a thriving career. She's ready to parent sober." I stare at Claire. "You were using when you had her." Claire dabbed her eyes with a fancy handkerchief. "I was in a dark place, but I'm better now. I can give Aaliyah everything she deserves." Everything she deserves. My voice shook. She deserves a mom who didn't ditch her. She deserved grandparents who didn't call her a scandal. She's got straight A's, plays soccer, loves painting. Did you know any of that? No? Because you've been gone her whole life. We tried to be involved. My mom cut in. You pushed us away. Christopher raised a hand. "Let's stick to facts. You're claiming Jenna alienated Aaliyah from her family. That's a big accusation." "We have proof," Langston said, pulling out more papers. "Refused calls, ignored invitations." "Funny," I said, standing. I walked to my desk, unlocked a drawer, and pulled out a folder thick with 10 years of proof. Voicemails, text, emails.
"I've got evidence too."
Every time you ignored her. Every time you called her a problem. Claire's face flickered with something. Fear, maybe? "What are those insurance I set against?" "Exactly this." Christopher scanned Langston's papers. "They're requesting full custody, Jenna, with supervised visits for you." "Like hell," I said, my voice low. "Get out. All of you. Christopher handles this now. You can't keep her from me." Claire stood, her polished mask cracking. "She's my blood. Blood." I pointed to Aaliyah's paintings on the wall. Where was blood when she had a fever at 2 and I stayed up all night? Where was it for every scraped knee, every school play? "You don't get to waltz it." Now Langston smirked. "We're prepared to go public. The press loves a mom fighting for her Stolen child. Stolen. I felt something. Snap. I've got the note. Claire, want me to show it to the press? My mom grabbed Claire's arm, staring her out. This isn't over. Jenna, you've always been selfish. They left Langston's briefcase swinging like a threat. Christopher stayed his face grim. They're playing dirty. You ready for this? I pulled out a USB drive. Years of documented neglect inside. They have no idea how ready I am. The next few weeks were a blur of late nights and whispered fears. I tuck Leo into bed, her galaxy pajamas glowing under the lamp, and she'd ask Mom, "Is everything okay?" I'd smile, brush her hair back, and say, "I'm handling it, kiddo." But inside I was terrified. Claire and my parents weren't just fighting for Aaliyah. They were fighting for a trust fund. My grandma had left for Claire's firstborn. A fortune they could control only if Aaliyah was in their custody. $2 million accessible when she turned 18 unless they got her now. And played trustees. It wasn't about love. It was about money. Christopher, my lawyer, set up shop in his cozy Crestview office, papers and coffee cups piling up. Marcus Tate, the private investigator he'd brought in, was a lifesaver, a gruff guy who ditched Denver's corporate scene to dig up truths. "Your sister's been busy," Marcus said one morning, dropping a stack of photos on Christopher's desk. They showed Claire at fancy Denver galas, yacht parties, and exclusive clubs. Timestamps spanning all 10 years. I'd been raising Aaliyah. She didn't look sick or struggling, just carefree, unburdened by the daughter she left behind. "There's more," Marcus said, sliding a legal document across the table. "My grandma's will." The clause was clear. The trust fund went to Claire's child raised within the Bennett family. If I kept Aaliyah, they got nothing. If they got custody, they could manage the funds. My hands shook. "So this is why it gets better," Marcus said. "Found Claire's fiancé, Derek Voss. He's willing to talk. Says he's fed up with her and your parents' games. Set it up." I said I want everything. That night, Aaliyah came home from Mia's. Her face serious. Mia's mom said something weird when she dropped me off. My heart froze. What did she say? She asked if I was okay, if I needed to talk about my real mom. Aaliyah's lip trembled. "You're my real mom, right?" I pulled her into a hug, breathing in her strawberry shampoo. "Always baby, no matter what anyone says." "How do you know about Claire?" I asked. Pulling back, I heard Grandma on the phone once. She said, "You stole me." Her eyes filled with tears. "That's not true, right? You were given to me the best gift I ever got." I wiped her tears. "Some people are trying to make trouble, but I'm fixing it." She nodded, then pulled a drawing from her backpack. A picture of us holding hands surrounded by a heart. "Best mom ever." It read in her careful script. "It's for the fridge," she said, and I pinned it up my throat tight. The next day, I met Derek at a coffee shop outside Crestview. Marcus was there, recorder hidden. Derek, a polished guy in his 30s, looked nervous, fidgeting with his cup. "Claire doesn't know I'm here. He said this custody thing, it wasn't her idea. Your parents pushed it after they found the trust fund clause, offer to pay for our wedding. If she went along," I leaned forward. "They said it was about family." He laughed, bitter. "It's about money, always is, with them. They're painting you as unstable, saying you took advantage of Claire's addiction to steal Aaliyah." Addiction. My voice hardened. Was she using when she was pregnant? Yeah, he admitted she got clean 3 years ago when we met. But this trust fund, $2 million. They want it bad. My phone buzzed a text from Aaliyah. "Mom, can you come get me?" She was at my parents for a court-mandated visit. "I gotta go." I said, "Will you testify?" Derek nodded. Aaliyah deserves better than being their pawn. I sped to my parents' Denver mansion, my heart pounding. Aaliyah was on the front steps, hugging her knees. "What happened?" I asked, rushing up. "I found something," she whispered inside. I heard my mom yelling, probably at Claire. Aaliyah pulled a photo from her backpack. At a lavish Christmas party, my parents, Claire, and relatives all beamed, but she was nowhere to be seen. There were no photos of me in their house. Claire repeatedly called me sweetheart, yet she didn't even know I despise vanilla ice cream. You'd think a real mother would know. I knelt before her and said, "Listen, sometimes the people who should love us don't know how. That's on them, not you." Back home, our neighbor, Marla Evans, arrived, her face grim. "I saw Claire on the news claiming you stole her kid," she stated. "I was there that night, Jenna. I saw her leave that baby on your porch and drive off in her fancy car. Didn't even check if you were home." My heart pounded. "Did you tell AUR that?" "I already called Christopher." "I'm meeting him tomorrow." She squeezed my hand. "Aaliyah belongs with you." Later, Marcus sent more evidence. Photos of Claire meeting private school heads and financial advisors planning Aaliyah's future with money she didn't have. Then Gloria Ruiz, my parents' former housekeeper, showed up with photos of their custody plan drafted months before they came to my door.
"They fired me for seeing too much."
She said, "They called you a pretend mom. I won't let them do this." I looked at Aaliyah's drawing on the fridge. Our stick figure hands joined. They wanted to paint me as the villain. Fine, I'd show them what a real villain looked like. The courtroom in Crestview County Courthouse felt like a cage, all polished wood and stiff air. I stood beside Christopher, my hands sweaty, watching Claire. My parents and their lawyer Langston file in like they own the place. Claire wore a modest dress playing the repentant mom. My parents sat ramrod straight, oozing respectability. But I wasn't a scared 25-year-old. They'd left to clean up their mess 10 years ago. I was Aaliyah's mom, and I had a decade of love and evidence to back me up. All rise. The bailiff called the Honorable Judge Helen Carter, presiding. My heart skipped. Carter was the judge. Marcus caught having lunch with Claire. But when she took the bench, her eyes were sharp, not bought. "Before we proceed," she said, her voice cutting through the room, "I need to address an issue. Mr. Langston, were you aware your client met with me last week?" Langston paled, "Your Honor." "I save it." She held up photos. Marcus's photos. "These were sent to the ethics board yesterday, along with financial records. We'll deal with that later. Now let's see the evidence." In this case, Christopher stood calm but fierce, Your Honor. "We have documentation spanning 10 years since my client became Aaliyah's primary caregiver. He started with Claire's note, 'I can't do this. She's yours now. Jenna.'" Then voicemails from that first month. Claire's voice crackling through the courtroom. "Just take her for a month. Jenna, I'll send money." "I swear." Another. "You're better at this than me. She's better off with you." My mom's text came next. "Keep this quiet. We have a charity gala. My dads handle it discreetly with each piece." Their faces drained of color. Christopher called Gloria Ruiz, the housekeeper. She stood tall, describing the documents she'd found in my dad's study. Plans to seize Aaliyah for the trust fund. Miss Bennett said Jenna's had her fun playing. "Mommy," Gloria said they wanted Aaliyah to be a proper Bennett. Marla Evans took the stand. Next, her voice steady. "I saw Claire leave that baby on Jenna's porch in the rain. Didn't knock, didn't wait, just drove off." Langston stood. "Objection. This is character assassination." "No," I said, standing despite Christopher's warning glance. "This is the truth." "Judge Carter," continue Miss Perez. I pulled out my phone, playing a recording from Derek Claire's fiancé. "Captured by Marcus. Once we get the kid, we access the trust fund, pay my debts. Who cares if she stays with her mom and dad?" The courtroom gasped. Claire's mascara streaked as she whispered to Langston. My mom looked like she'd been slapped. My dad stared at the floor. "Your Honor." Christopher said, "We have evidence of Claire's gambling debts, unpaid loans, and attempts to access the trust fund before this suit. This is a scheme to exploit a child's inheritance." "That's not true." Claire stood, tears streaming. "I love my daughter. I've changed. I faced her, my voice breaking but steady. What's her favorite color? What's she allergic to? What sport does she play? Who's her best friend?" Claire's mouth opened, then closed fish-like purple. I said, tears burning my eyes, "She's allergic to strawberries. She plays soccer, dreams of being a goalie. Her best friend's Mia since kindergarten. She loves painting, but hates loud noises. You'd know that if you'd been here enough." Judge Carter said softly, "I've heard enough." She shuffled her papers, then fixed my family with a look that could have cracked stone. In 30 years, I've rarely seen such a shameless attempt to manipulate a child, and this court, the custody suit, is dismissed with prejudice. I'm ordering an investigation into the trust fund scheme. Mr. Langston, contact the Bar Association before they contact you and you. She turned to my family. I'm issuing a temporary restraining order. No contact with Jenna or Aaliyah without legal channels. Relief flooded me, but I stayed still, spine straight. My mom stood. You can't do this. We're her family. No, I said quietly. You're just people who share our DNA. There's a difference. The gavel struck. Court adjourned in the hallway. Claire tried one last time. Jenna, please. I'm your sister. You stopped being my sister the night you left Aaliyah in the rain. I turned away, Christopher guiding me out on the courthouse steps. I took a deep breath. The Colorado air crisp and free. It's over, Christopher said. No, I replied. Thinking of Aaliyah waiting at home, probably doodling to calm her nerves. It's just beginning. But this time, we're writing the story. Aaliyah was waiting on her porch when I pulled into the driveway. Mia and her mom, Carla, beside her before I could park. Aaliyah sprinted to the car. Her eyes wide. Did you mean it? Is it really over? I hugged her tight, her warmth grounding me. It's over, baby. They can't take you away. Carla wiped her eyes, smiling. We've got celebration cookies in the oven. Chocolate chip, Aaliyah's specialty. Inside the kitchen smelled like sugar and victory. Aaliyah and Mia chattered sneaking cookie dough when they thought I wasn't looking. My phone buzzed with a news alert. Denver custody case exposes trust fund plot. My parents' perfect reputation was crumbling. Socialites didn't recover easily from headlines like that. Christopher updated me on several matters. The ethics board was investigating Claire's lunch with Judge Carter. Langston had resigned from his firm, and the trust fund was being secured with an independent trustee. My parents are selling their Denver home. Christopher mentioned they were moving to Florida, which I corrected, stating it's typical behavior for them. A crash from the kitchen startled me. Aaliyah stood by a broken glass, her phone in hand, her face pale. I rushed over and asked what was wrong. She handed me her phone. It was a text from Claire. I'm sorry. I know it doesn't fix anything, but you deserve to hear it. I asked Aaliyah if she wanted to reply, but she shook her head and grabbed a broom. She's right. It doesn't fix anything. That night, after Mia and Carla left, Aaliyah sat at the kitchen table, her face serious, the same look she got before a big soccer game. Mom, I want to ask something. Anything I said sitting across from her. She pulled a folder from her backpack. Legal forms printed at school. I want to change my name legally. I don't want to be a Bennett. I want to be Aaliyah Perez like you. My heart stopped. That's a big decision, kiddo. I've been thinking about it for months, even before they showed up. You chose me. I want to choose you back all the way. I looked at the forms, remembering all the times I'd wanted to adopt her, but held back, worried about crossing some invisible line. You sure? More sure than I've ever been, she grinned. Plus, it'll really bug Grandma, I laughed, tears spilling. That's not a reason to do it. No, but it's a fun bonus. We filled out the paperwork together, talking about her latest art project, how Mia wanted to join the soccer team, her plans for the school talent show. Hey, Mom, she said as I tucked her into bed. Thanks for fighting for me. Always, baby. No matter what. I know she yawned. That's why you're my real mom. You stayed. After she slept, I sat in our living room, flipping through old photos. Aaliyah's first goal, her first painting, her first wobbly bike ride, every moment we'd built together, every choice we'd made. My phone lit up with another text from Claire. I know you'll never forgive me, but thank you for giving her what I couldn't. I thought about replying, about telling her what she'd lost, but I blocked her number. Instead, words didn't fix a decade of absence that I opened my laptop, pulling up the adoption petition. I'd started weeks ago now that the custody fight was done. Now that Aaliyah had chosen her name, it was time to make it official. A soft creak made me look up. Aaliyah stood in the doorway, rubbing her eyes, can't sleep. She shook her head and curled up beside me. What's that? I showed her the screen. Her eyes widened. Really? You want to adopt me? Only if you want it, but yeah. I want to make it official in every way. She threw her arms around me. When can we do it? We'll talk to Christopher tomorrow. Start the process. Good, she said already, drifting off because I've known since I was little. You're my mom. The universe got it right the first time. I held her close, thinking about that rainy night, the courtroom, the love we'd chosen over and over. Family isn't just about blood. It's about the bonds we forge, fight for, and choose daily. Through every storm, fear, and triumph, we've chosen each other. To all who have followed this journey, thank you. You've been there through moments of panic and witnessed a love strong enough to hold us together when the world tried to tear us apart. If this story resonated with you, subscribe and join us. Here, every moment and every choice tells a story of heart, home, and unwavering perseverance. Continue building your own family in whatever form it takes, and I'll meet you in the ongoing fight for what truly matters.